Your career really kicked off in the 80s,
Yeah.
which was a decade of total excess.
You know, the excessive drug thing didn't appeal to me.
You and Richie outdoing each other with these gifts like, I'll buy you a Ferrari, I'll get you a Lambo, whatever it is.
Buying each other those silly gifts was cute and fun because we did. It wasn't about buying the house. It was like, is that house a home? That's what mattered.
Yeah. Drug addiction and excessive drinking, and also you're still married to your wife of 40 years, which makes you the anomaly, really, in the kind of rock star world.
Yeah, there are others, but I'll gladly embrace
Not
the
many
mantle.
I can think of.
Bono is as long as me.
Okay,
Bruce
yeah.
is almost as long as that, and so there are many others, but I'll gladly accept the mantle. I'm okay.
I mean, your career really kicked off in the 80s,
Yeah.
which was a decade of total excess. How did you avoid the
I
temptation?
didn't avoid it. I just I knew how to maintain my life in the midst of it, and you know, the excessive drug thing didn't appeal to me. So I never had an issue with any of that. It just, fortunately, the singer went home.
Yeah.
You know, that is as simple as that. The singer went home.
Yeah.
So I also knew I had to perform the next night. So even if I was out drinking, you know, that was fine, you know, but the rest of it held little interest.
I mean, during that excessive time in the 80s, in the documentary you talk about, you and Richie outdoing each other with these gifts like, I'll buy you a Ferrari, I'll get you a Lambo, whatever it is. How did that impact you coming out of that era and then having kids and a family life, etc.? Having experienced that excess, do you lose gratitude? Does it wear out your dopamine trying to reach those highs the whole time?
The gift buying thing was genuine because we were just so grateful for everything and enjoying the cliches of being able to do something like buying your parents a house. You know, you've heard every athlete that's done that over the course of time. Buying each other those silly gifts was cute and fun because we did. But it wasn't even reaching for, I got to do something bigger to be better. It was almost like a one-time thing. You know, after that, you got over it, and it's like, you don't need to do that. And buying your first house and all those cliches was fun. You could, you know. So that was nice. But then it started to not mean anything. It was like, okay, it's cool. It's good, and you're grateful. But it wasn't about buying the house. It was like, is that house a home? That's what mattered.
Yeah, without a doubt. Obviously, we've just talked about this, but you managed to avoid, you know, drug addiction and excessive drinking, but obviously band members didn't.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that caused a lot of pain over the years, seeing people derail.
See, that's my Mick Jagger question.
Yeah.
How did he manage it? How did he pull them back in?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Did it ever irritate you they weren't as focused as you?
You know, substance abuse is real, right? And people do things for different reasons. And it's not something that you can just say, snap out of it.
Yeah.
You know, without help or without deep dive into what it is that makes you do those kind of things, and to lose opportunities that you haven't, you know, you've won the prize. You're in one of the biggest rock bands in the world, you know, and you would give it up for that. It seems silly, but it's real disease. It's real people that need help. So I'm not damning anyone who didn't come out the other end. I feel bad for him. But these are choices that adults make.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to hinder myself because of that. You know, I wasn't going to slow down because somebody else couldn't keep up. It's not fair to anyone else, to the rest of the band, to the crew, to the fans, to the record company, to the promoter, to anybody.
But I mean, this was like thinking on your feet stuff, because Richie left in the middle of a tour. You had a gig that night, and he didn't get on the plane, didn't make it to the gig, and you had to quickly fill a hole and work out on the day how it was going to work.
Yeah.
And also the sad thing is you didn't know that the gig prior to that was his last show.
Did not.
There was no goodbye.
Absolutely not. Oh, no. There was no fight. There was no nothing. I couldn't have been in a better place. We were on a week break. The album was going to come in the charts at number 1 on the Tuesday. Hey, I want to stay home one more day. Sure, of course. You fly up from LA. I'll fly up from New York. The rest of the band are going up on their own. See you in Calgary. And then to get there, and then, okay, you've done this before, hoping that tomorrow would be there. And then there was no tomorrow, and there was no tomorrow. And he wouldn't go to rehab. And you're like, you got to go back to rehab. I ain't going to rehab. Well, great. So we plugged on. And, I had to do 80 more shows with a fill-in, wondering when is he going to come back. That was a lot of stress. That was not easy. When you get sucked into showbiz in Hollywood, I found it to be a very shallow pool swimming.
Yeah.
And most of those people certainly ended up divorced, if not dead. And it was just a real eye opener for us. We were like, oh no, not for me. Let's get out of here.
Yeah. No, I think it's lovely that you're giving back to your community. It's a really beautiful thing. I've just got back from New York literally yesterday, hence my slightly hazy state, and my eyes feel like they're about a millimetre open at the moment. But the thing that I always notice whenever I go to the States and come back here is the attitudinal difference. There is this sort of, it might feel like a cliche to us here, but in the most beautiful way, that success is celebrated. People really encourage each other. The American dream is the thing that we've always heard about over here in the UK. You lived and breathed that growing up and having that success in the 80s. I don't think we've got that here. I don't think we've ever had that here. Like, you can dream big, blue sky thinking. What do you want to do with your life? I think, if anything, I don't know, some would call it realism. I think it's suppression at times. How do you see those cultural differences? How have you experienced the American dream? Is it what we believe it to be?
Fascinating that you bring that point up, because I have heard that more in the last couple of months than I had in the 40 years of my coming here. And it is being brought up often by a wide array of people. Just a moment ago on a radio show, the other guests brought that up. People who are entertainers have brought that up to me. I didn't know that because I visit here. I perform here, I leave here, But lately, whether or not you guys are noticing it more, or I'm just of an age that I'm paying attention more, I don't know. But that hurt my heart when I heard that. And I've heard it so often in the last couple of months. In America, they said, a kid looks at somebody who's successful and says, when I grow up, I want to be that. And here they would say that when I see that guy on the top of the mountain, I want to take him down.
Yep.
Wow. That hurt my heart when my friend told me that. And so we were born into a time when John Kennedy was president of the United States and saying we're going to go to the moon. And my parents believed it. And they said, you want to be a astronaut or a rock and roll star, little Johnny, go ahead, and you were like, okay, because we believed it to be true. And for a long time, that was the messaging, for sure. Now, I can complicate it today in 2024 and social media and inflation and. But I do think at the end of the day, it's still alive. You just have to look harder for it in America. But it's still very much, I still think it's there.